While growing up in school, you were taught never to be too loud, not to speak up, never to make mistakes, not to copy others, but that's exactly the way people win in life. The bitter truth is school taught you how to pass exams and not how to win at life. Someone once told me, first in class is not first in life. So if life feels harder, it's simply because the classroom raised you up for obedience and not for success. I'm going to reveal to you 5 ways you've been programmed to play small right from the get-go. You can't be rich and be holy. The solutions to this particular problem differ and is being affected by time and season. A particular problem now, there could be a solution to that problem, but this is not the right time to apply that solution. You believe that if you don't take permission, punishment from somewhere would come. The first program in which young people are being initiated into before they meet the real world is don't copy your neighbor. You see, cheating was seen as a crime, a punishable crime while in the classroom. And for some reason, when you come to real life, you realize that your copying might get you to a certain level in life, but then copying strategic is always what is going to give you the winning card. Why? Because nothing is new under the sun. When you move into a business setting or you move into an industry, there are players already. There are big players already. Now, doing exactly what they have done to get to a certain level or get to where they are, it's exactly what we call copying. But now you're not copying myopically. You're not copying word for word. You're not copying exactly what they have been done, thereby losing your authenticity. When we were locked into this web of do not copy, it shut the doors of collaboration. So if you really wanted to win in class, if you really wanted to be successful in class, you had to read your ass off and help no single soul in the exam hall. That was the only way you could pass. Because if you helped other people, probably the ones you failed, they get it, and then you now provide them with the correct answers again. And at the end of the day, they get better grades than you did. Putting children in this, locking them in this web of do not copy others, they take this mindset out of the classroom and bring it into real life, thinking that when you have a business idea, you should sit on it alone. Do not reveal it to the world and try and figure every single thing out on your own. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some business ideas which, of course, you shouldn't just come out and start screaming to the world. There are some business strategies you shouldn't just release to the whole world. But the mistake you make is thinking you would figure it all out on your own from start. And that was the mistake I made when starting out. I wanted to be a self-proclaimed millionaire, all right? I wanted to be the kind of person that they ask, oh, how did you succeed? I'm like, oh, I did it all by myself. I didn't want to give accolades to anyone. I didn't want anybody to be a partaker of my success. And that's what killed me, because you lock off mentors, you lock off advice, good, genuine advice. Now, you don't realize that there are people that have done what you've done. There are people that have gone through what you're going through. All you need to do is ask. All you need to do is search, and you get the answers and the information you need. But then thinking that sitting on your own and not copying other people because this person told you this is the exact system you need to take. This is what you do. Okay, you sell digital products, you do this. I have done it before. I have scaled it. This is exactly what I did. And then you think doing what someone has presented the systems, the strategies for you on how you can scale your business from a certain amount to a certain amount. But because of you think copying is wrong, you choose to say, no, I'll go and figure this out on my own. They have covered this distance and they're showing you how they did it, so you don't waste as much time as they did. But because of the spirit of, oh, I don't want to copy, you say no. You try to reinvent the wheel. Something is already working in life. There are principles. There are things that are already down. They are bound to work. All right. You coming into the system, you're just a visitor to that system. Don't think that you come there to stay. Come there, look at what has been working, follow the wheel, make your profits, get your results, and move on. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. The second program in which young people are being initiated into before they meet the real world in the classroom is following instructions exactly. Now, when we were in the classroom setting, if you're told to stand up, you stand up. If you were not told to stand up, you will be punished if you stood. Every single thing is being dictated for you when you're in the classroom, when you're in the school system. And mind you, I'm not criticizing the school system. If you are in the school system right now, the aim of this video is not to profile solutions or the right way the schools should train children. No, the aim of this video is for you to see yourself, if you have been through this system already, if you're stuck in life, if you're going through something, for you to see yourself in this mirror, because you can never solve a problem you're not aware of. Now, if you're aware that, oh, the reason I've been shy, in quotes, or I've not been able to, I'm afraid of public speaking, is probably because of an experience I had when I was in primary school. I was called up in front of the class to read, and when I made a mistake, I stumbled upon a word, the whole class laughed at me, they ridiculed me, that could have been an experience that shaped how you now perceived life in that aspect. So the aim of this video is to pinpoint and highlight some certain things, and so you see yourself in it and understand that this is not an inbound problem. This is not a problem you were born with. You were programmed into this behavior to start displaying this behavior. Okay? So back to what I was saying. Something else that it's been mistaken is the following instructions exactly. You're being told when to come to school. You're being told the kind of shirt you should wear. You're being told the kind of clothes you should wear. You're being told the exact time you should be in school. You're being told when to start this lecture, when to end this class. You're being told the only time you're allowed to take a break. Everything is being dictated for you. Everything is being arranged for you. Now, of course, this is there for orderliness. But the mistake being made is they enforce this so much that the children grow up with this system in mind, waiting for people to dictate things for them. Now, creativity is being punished in school. The moment you try to create something, I remember back then when primary school or secondary school, we had these children who were able to create stuff with rubber bands and papers, build some stuff. They were being punished in class for distracting themselves and distracting us. What if that was an architect you were punishing? He had this flair, this creativity to build stuff out of pieces of papers. People that build these airplanes, paper men, they're able to construct it with nothing, just paper, gum, and probably some rubber bands. But of course, these kind of things were punished in school. Someone who has been punished several times for being creative, for thinking outside the box, sooner or later, they see it as a wrong thing and prefer not to do that in order to avoid the punishment. You see grown people waiting to be told what to do. Why? Because they've lost confidence in their own sense of independence. They believe that if you follow the rules, the norms, what has been laid out for you, that's the only way you can be safe. That's the only way you can succeed. That's the only way you can be accepted by the society. But that's wrong. In life, if you want to win in life, you have to be able to think outside the box. Because thinking outside the box is what sets you apart from the masses who are already trapped inside that box. Be it business, life, your relationships, everything. All right? If you keep on waiting for someone to dictate things for you, to tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it, you're not an adult. You're still a baby walking and living in the body of a grown person. The third program in which young people are being initiated into in the classroom before they meet the real world is the idea of only one right answer, only one correct answer. Now, when you take exams, you're either marked right or wrong. When given questions, you either tell me this or that. I told you this is this is the answer I should see in my exam, in the answer sheet. All right. And what this does to you is it robs you of the possibility and the awareness that there is a life full of options. Now, people grow up thinking that that every single problem in life only has one solution to it, one right answer. And this spills into people. I listen to most people's arguments and I'm trying to understand what is the aim of this argument. It's just like arguing about a problem that has 3, 4, 5 different solutions. But because you've been raised to believe that there's only one right answer, one correct answer to every single challenge or every problem, you're arguing about that it is this or nothing. All right. What that does to your head is you don't see a life of options. Now, that is a symposium discussion. Poor people only see this or that. I can only have this or I have that. They don't see a life of options. The rich people, the elite, the top 1%, They understand a life of options. They understand that if this is here, this is here, this is here, and this is here. I can have 3 of them if I want. I can have all of them if I want. I can have 2 of them if I want. But a poor person thinks, oh, there are 4 here. That means I have to take 1 or I take none. That is the way they understand it. They understand only 1 or nothing, this or that, which is a very wrong way of thinking. It's a very flawed way of thinking. All right. If you understand that in life, there's this and that. You see people saying that you cannot be rich and you're a steady Christian. That if you're very, very rich, is either you have dabbled into some kind of illegal business or you're not a very strong Christian. You can't be rich and be holy. You see people with that mindset walking around and they take pride in being poor because they think that being poor is the only way you can be holy and acceptable to God. But then you rich people, the elite understand, the elite are the most educated. The elite understand that you can be rich and you can be holy. You can be rich and make heaven. All right. So it is this and that, not this or that. So bringing it into real life, there are lots of problems. And believe me when I tell you that every single problem doesn't have just one solution to it. For every single problem you see, there are multiple ways of solving it. The solutions to this particular problem differs and is being affected by time and season. So a particular problem now, there could be a solution to that problem, but this is not the right time to apply that solution. So you see that solutions differ in seasons, in time, in matter, in context, in environment. All right. Someone that, let's say a girl that got pregnant, that got pregnant before marriage, the only solution for her could be abort. There are some people that the only solution could be kill yourself. There are some people that the only solution could be you must get married. There are lots of things. The same decision that a Nigerian girl who took in early makes is not the same decision an American who is in the same situation would take. That's to show you that there are different solutions to a problem. So if you grew up with that mindset that one problem, one correct, there's only one right answer, it's a very flawed way of thinking. The bitter truth is, when being marked right or wrong, children are not even allowed to question the correct answer. The correct answer is what the teacher says is correct, whether it's right or wrong. Once the teacher says this is right, it is what is right. Everybody should accept it. A child who questions that right answer is being greeted with punishment. And when you grow up with that, you see people who are afraid of questioning authority. You see people who are afraid of questioning broken systems. This is a system. It's clearly broken. For someone who thinks, like an elite who thinks, you have clearly seen it's broken, but because you have always been suppressed with either judgment or ridiculed because you questioned authority or you questioned the system, you grew up with that fear and then you prefer to live in a broken system than question it, think your way out of it. Okay? So that is a really, really flawed programming. And if you have found yourself in that situation, I want you to understand that you were not born with it. It's probably the way you were programmed. It was a programming. All right. You can break out of it. If you see yourself in a broken system, if you see yourself in a broken family, a broken home, if you see yourself in something that clearly isn't working, but everybody somehow is being hypnotized into accepting that particular thing, you're free to think, you're free to say no. You're free to say, no, I don't accept this. See, 50 of you accept it. It doesn't seem right to me. It doesn't seem logical to me. I'm not accepting it. All right. You are free to do so. You have the freedom to do that. That's what I just want you to understand today. The fourth program in which young people are being initiated into while in the classroom before meeting the real world is always seeking for permission. So before you leave the class, you have to take permission from your teacher. You have to take permission from your classroom, from your classmates. Before you miss school, you have to take permission from the authority. Before you do basically anything, permission has to be taken and granted. Of course, I understand that all these things are there for the orderliness of the environment. But the mistake, again, being made is it's being overemphasized. And now you see children who grow up into adults still seeking permission before they do anything. Now they seek when they've grown into adults who can make decisions for themselves, they don't see so much elderly people. While in class you had your teachers, they don't see so much elderly people to seek permission from. So they start seeking permission from their peers. You see people who they can't make decisions on their own because they've they've lost confidence in their sense of independence. They don't trust their independence. They don't trust their decision making. They feel before they have to take action to do something, someone has to put a stamp on it. Someone has to say yes to it. And as someone who wants to succeed in life, you have to break barriers. You can make midnight decisions. You don't need to take permission from anybody except your mentors, which is like a different discussion, a symposium discussion. You know, when you do something in school without taking permission, of course, it's being greeted with punishment, judgment, and punishment. So you bring this. Of course, the society has its own way of judging people, of punishing people. So you think and you believe that if you don't take permission, punishment from somewhere would come. From where? You know, most times you just need to sit down and ask yourself questions and answer those questions genuinely. As illogical as those questions might be, probe into yourself. That's the way you can break out of this. Until you probe and ask yourself questions. Why do I think this? Why am I afraid to do this? Why am I not comfortable? Why am I not comfortable having difficult discussions? Why am I always comfortable being with surface level discussions? You know the deep things to talk about. Probably you're in a relationship, probably you're in a business discussion, you're talking with someone, you're with a prospect, you know the deep things to talk about, but you're afraid of going deep. You just prefer to stay at the top, talk about the casual things. There's a reason for that. Ask yourself. All right. Now, one thing that I've seen it always happen. People who always seek for permission end up seeking for validation. So you take permission from someone before you do something, before you take an action, before you get married. You want to take permission from someone. At some point, to lead that same person, to lead to you seeking validation from that person. So before you do something, you ask the person, is this right or wrong? Should I do this? Or when you've done something, you allow people to validate what you've done. Now, a lot of people have different ways of their own sense of validation, their own method of validation. Some people's own is likes and comments. If you post a video and you get likes or you get 1,000 views or so, they believe, okay, yes, they like it, it's good. If it gets no likes, they believe that, oh, nobody likes it. People have different ways of measuring their own validation. But basically, what I'm trying to tell you right now is, if you really want to make an impact in life, if you really want to break barriers, if you really want to do big, great things, you have to stop seeking for permission. Because the moment you realize that you are in charge of your actions, the decisions you make, the consequences, you're fully aware of the consequences. Because, hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not just telling you to go and do things randomly. I'm telling you to sit down, ponder on your decisions, ponder on what you want to do. Be aware of the consequences. Are you able to live with the consequences? Are you not? If you're not able to live with the consequences, can you just manage the consequences for this certain period of time? You go through these questions, you go through this exercise before you make your decisions, before you do whatever you want to. Because at the end of the day, you are the only one who knows what is best for you. So if you know this is what you're supposed to do, but then the person you're seeking permission from is telling you, no, don't do it. And you don't do it, but you still sit down there every night dying, knowing that this is what you're supposed to do. Of what use is that life? That the fifth programming which young people are being initiated into while in the classroom before meeting real life is they believe mistakes equals failure. While in classroom, you're not allowed to make mistakes. You're never allowed to make mistakes. In fact, they create this environment, this system of high competition that you understand that if I want to be first position, they never give two people first position. They never do it. And that is intentional. Now, two people could be dominating the marketplace in real life. Two people can be totally successful. But when you grow up in that kind of environment, thinking that only one person has to be first, you believe that only one person has to be successful. Others have to be below you. So you're playing like, I think, a zero-sum game. I don't know how Naval says it. I'll tell you how this affected me. Your family members, you get a lot of people telling you that you're great, you're the star, all this. When that gets into your head, that has its very, 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 very good reasons. Like, it has its good benefits. It helps in boosting your self-confidence. But when you now believe that only you and only you is supposed to be successful, any other person that is showing any signs of being successful is a threat to you, that's a problem. But that is the way you have been raised in primary school, in secondary school. That if you want to be first position, anytime once exam papers land, that's after marking, anybody that seems to be getting higher is a threat to you. Now you don't go and associate with that person. It's logical. Your teacher tells you, your other, you just know it. Your parents even tell you. You see this person is now gunning for your position. Probably you've gotten first position, first time and second time. Now third time, this person is gunning for your position. You need to stay on guard. You need to, of course, grind harder, but don't talk to this person first, because they will come to make friends with you genuinely. But don't talk to this person so that they don't come and take your tactics and now overcome and now take first position or whatever. But basically, you're being taught and trained that whoever is showing signs of success, no matter how far the person is a threat to you, which is very, very bad in real life, because you can be rich on your own without affecting anybody. You can make your way up to $1 billion status without hurting other people. Other people can become billionaire on their own. You don't need to. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now we are being taught and programmed that if you make a mistake, it's a bad thing. In fact, if you make a mistake, you failed. You're not supposed to make a mistake. And then we spend our lives living like we're walking on eggshells. You don't want to make any mistake, but coming to life, if you live like that, trying to have a perfect life, I promise you, you're not going to be living at all. You're just going to be existing. Because when you're on your deathbed, there are lots of things you would regret not doing. Most people don't regret what they've done. They regret what they didn't do. Now, for young people, it differs. For young people, most of their regrets are about what they've done, probably out of foolishness. But when you I've listened to a lot of elderly people, their foolishness ended, the result of their foolishness at some point weird out. Like they don't remember it again. What is haunting them is what they didn't do. What they knew they were supposed to do, but they didn't do it. Why? Because they were afraid of making a mistake. Fear of making a mistake. And then you grow up thinking that your life is supposed to be pitch perfect. If you want to gain this result, everything is supposed to go smoothly. But that's not true. You have to make mistakes in life, in business. Because from mistakes, you get to learn lessons. And those lessons are what contribute to your growth. Those lessons are what contribute in making your life, your journey, richer. So if you live your life thinking that you should live a life full of no mistakes at all, of what use is that life? Because no mistakes means you've gotten everything right. And if you think you're being deluded into thinking that you have everything figured out, everything is right, then know that you're naive. That is the first step into doom. Don't be that child. Even though you've been that child, don't be that child who now negatively associates mistakes with failure. When you launch an ad campaign, it flops. You think you have failed. That business is not for you. When you're 2 months into a business, you got on a call with someone and then you didn't close the sale, but then you realize that you shouldn't have said this or you shouldn't have said that because this customer flared up. Those are mistakes. You learn from them. You now understand that, I shouldn't say this on my next call. Not saying, I made a mistake. That's it. I can never succeed in this business. No. Mistakes are there to show you, direct you to what is right. This is why I see life. Most people make a big deal out of the mistakes they make currently. One of the people I look up to said, the mistakes you make now are just preparing you for the bigger things that are coming in life. You make a mistake today because you can afford to make that mistake today. That mistake is preparing you, because there's a bigger mistake you cannot make. You cannot afford to make that bigger mistake in life, later in life, in the future. So this one, you made this mistake today to, condition you, to prepare you, to guide you, to teach you, so that you don't mess things up. There's something bigger coming in your life that you cannot just afford to mess it up. You cannot afford to make that mistake. So this little mistake you made now just prepared you so that you now know the right thing to do. And you do it when you get to that bigger place. When you meet that bigger calling, that bigger task. When you choose to see life this way, you don't see mistakes as a death sentence again. If you guys like this video, tell me in the comment section. I would make more videos like this talking about the programmings and how you, as an individual who wants to be a sovereign individual, can escape it even though you have been trapped in the system for long. All right? It's not an easy journey, but then it's possible. It's simple, but it's not easy. You just need to understand that, and there's a difference. Okay? If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. And of course, our mantra, share this video with just 3 of your friends who you would like to transform their lives if you got value from this video. Just 3. No more, no less. And most of you have been asking me, how do you start a business? How do you start, I have a business idea. What do I do to start? I recorded a video teaching how you can use content and AI to start your business. If you've started it already, to scale your business. I'll link the video in the description. It's for every single young business owner. You have to watch that video if you haven't watched. It's one of my top performing videos right now. All right. So hit the link in the description. Watch the video. Carry out whatever actions you need to carry out. As usual, where you are right now is not your final destination. I shall see you at the top. But for now, lock in and represent.